Before I start, I want to say that if you are just a player that always rematches because it is how you have fun and want to learn Tekken, this rant is not about you. This rant is only aimed at the entitled man-babies that also expect everyone else to rematch all the time and look down on players that don't. For example,
if you want to one and done, you're well within your right. You are well within your right. Just understand that if it comes to a conversation of do you want to be respected as a player or do you want to get better, you're no longer eligible for that conversation.
I love playing sets, win or lose, with players offline and online, but what they seem to forget is that this version of ranked is a silly little farce within a fighting game, with the goal to get as high as you can without cheating. It cannot be considered a serious elo-based system like you have in chess. Chess doesn't have any of the unbalance of unique characters, let alone the ridiculous loss streak penalties to add to the already stupid point system, in which you lose more points for losing to someone 3 ranks above you than you do for losing to someone 3 ranks below you. No wonder lots of players will not finish sets if they have to already deal with this bonkers point system. If you want to flex about your pure Tekken skill, then go and play in tournaments or play your first to 10 sets, and stop ranting like a holier-than-thou snob about players that don't pander to your fragile egos in ranked. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy playing close sets in ranked. However, for me, part of the enjoyment of ranked is deciding whether I should risk a rematch or not. If you mindlessly rematch every time, that rush of should I, shan't I, does not exist. That being said, if you mindlessly one and done every time, then the same is true and I can't defend you. I do not feel shame in the slightest when I leave, and I do not get fazed or annoyed when I have an opponent not rematch me. We are already dealing with bad connections, opponents that have chugging PCs, a wanky point system, tier whores, smurfs, and all the actual cheats that plug etc. Why should we also abide to this unwritten rule and be called frauds and fakes if we don't follow it?
People leave because they're more concerned about preserving their rank and keeping their points up than actually getting better at the game. That's the reality, and that's the reality for 9 times out of 10.
What an outdated, entitled crock of shit. There are now so many more resources for improving at Tekken, instead of just relying on blindly rematching in ranked. If you want to get good at Tekken, go to some offlines and train with other players. If there is no offline scene near you, train with strong players in player match. You can also go into the improved replay mode and replay a situation that blew you up over and over again while taking control of your character, so you can try different counterplays to see what works, so you have it ready to use next time.
If you come up against somebody that is just pushing your shit in, just try to learn. Try to pick something up from there. Also, if you go and fight them and you complete the set, you can go into the replay feature and you can try to figure out what went wrong.
Yeah, you can also not waste your valuable gaming time getting your shit pushed in a second time, and go straight to the replay section after game 1 and get the same result.
And if you've been playing it for a number of years, you can digest quite a bit of information quite quickly. I like to think I'm one of those players that have been playing it for a long time, even though I wouldn't say I'm an expert. And if I see something, I can generally try to understand or catch on to what is going on. And in the second match, I can do much better. And that's generally what happens.
Well, congrats. Not everyone playing this game is in their teens or 20s, when the brain is still like a sponge for new information. The older you get, the longer it takes to process what is going on. I started playing Tekken, albeit ultra casually, in my 20s, but I only started to learn the game in my 40s. So for me, now at 48, with deathmatches no longer being a thing, staying for just one more match when I'm getting totally bamboozled does not help me improve in the slightest.
What I can't stand is when I actually see people leaving after I've battered them. I'm just like, are you that much of a pussy? Are we being serious right now? Do you care about your points that much? Just take that L.
Yeah, guys, just take another L. So these players can milk more points from the players they are battering. The fact these entitled players can't see the hypocrisy of, if they are battering someone, they themselves are not improving or learning, but they still care about getting more points for the second match is really hilarious.
That's at least my opinion. You know, I'm always honest with you guys. If you just leave just because you're getting mollywopped, I can't take you seriously.
Don't worry, the hypocrisy gets funnier.
And I know in Tekken, with the thousands of different playstyles, that I'm going to run into somebody that might be button mashing and they beat me. And it is what it is because there's so many moves you have to deal with. But when somebody wins and then quits, it pisses me off because, like I said, Tekken is so complex.
So, why aren't you taking your own advice and just take the L?
I've got a lot of games on my channel where I lost the first game and I came back and I adapted.
Ah, bless. So you need more time to adapt. Well, this is ranked, not a charity. Deal with it and take the L. But don't worry. Over time you'll get better at the first to one if you work at it and not always rely on a set to get your wins.
Just take your L's, guys. You know, it's gonna be okay.
I have entered many tournaments, offline and online. I have beaten many players that are only good at Tekken if they have multiple matches to figure their opponent out. If you want to be good at tournaments, then you have to be good in the first to one as well. Why is that, you ask? Aren't tournaments first to two? I have won multiple tournament matches where I've won the first game with my primary main and then lost the second due to them adapting well. Then I switched to my secondary main and beat them in that last match. I might be the weaker player in a first to 10. But who is in the next round of the tournament?
The reason I don't like one and dones is because they are fakes. People that do one and dones are fakes. They are fakes, they are tryhards. Those are the actual tryhards. They're the ones that want to appear like they're actually sick of the game when they're shit.
In my opinion, to make ranked fairer, you should be able to limit your matchmaking searches to players within your own Tekken prowess range. That way you will more likely be matched up with players that are approximately at your skill level, and not with players that are much higher in skill than you, but are ranking up a pocket character. Unfortunately, with the current FGC player base size, the problem with this is that the queue times would be too long if everyone decided to limit their search criteria in this way. Therefore, I accept that I will often run into players that are just passing through my rank, on their way to their actual rank level. I accept I have to take the L. But why the fuck should I rematch them and hemorrhage even more points? I am not a fake or a fraud if I choose to only rematch players that are actually meant to be at my rank. The second part of this section is going to talk about versing stronger characters. Funny, as most players that complain about one and doners seem to only use the strong characters. What a surprise. That being said, this is where it gets a bit subjective, as character strength can never be totally objective, as personal bias will always exist. I play a generally accepted bottom 5 character. If I am matched against one of the generally accepted top 5 characters, I know I am already at a big disadvantage when I play ranked. Why does it make me a fraud and a fake if I do not always rematch top tiers? I will often be at a disadvantage, due to the majority of the player base being tier whores. Why am I being shamed into rematching, so the tier whores can get an even easier ride to higher ranks than they are getting already? So far, I have just covered what I think are the most common, totally fair, tactical reasons why players do not always rematch. Now let's move on to the more abstract reasons that are also totally valid in my opinion. Getting fed up seeing the same character over and over again. If you play a popular character, you have to accept that your opponent may have already played many full sets versus your character before matching with you. Now they just want to leave early to hopefully play against a different character. Personal dislikes. I personally hate with a passion the personality, voice, look and animations of Azucena. It's like someone ate all the annoying traits of Lucky Chloe, Katarina, and Josie, then shat Azucena out their ass into Tekken 8. I will not rematch Azucenas so I can get to a character that doesn't irk me. Unfortunately, there are loads of Azucenas out there, so I will still learn the match up. So, again, do not trot out the "you will only get better" rematching mantra. If you have a disgusting, off-putting custom, I am not rematching you. There is a reason customs are not allowed in all serious online events, as they are a distraction. If you key charge, not including legit charge setups, taunt or teabag, don't be an entitled twat, expecting a rematch if the opponent thinks, "fuck you," and they leave. Needing a timeout. Sometimes you have a game that was so intense that you are shaking etc. and just need a few minutes to compose yourself again. Or you tilted yourself by how you played badly, and now need to compose yourself. These two scenarios happen in tournament too. But the difference in tournament is that you can take those few minutes while going to character or stage select screen. Ranked does not give you that time, and even if you include loading duration, sometimes it is not enough. Needing a timeout can also be true. If you finally get that rank for the first time that you have been after for ages, you might be so high you need a few minutes to compose yourself.
Because if the emergency thing was if you were to take that seriously, then you wouldn't still be online. Why am I running into you again? I won the first game, I rematched you. Then you won the second game, and you left. Are you serious? Now, like I said, it's not that deep as a video game, but that's pretty shameful behavior. That's pretty shameful behavior.
With everything I have said so far, in my opinion, the only acceptable reason for leaving a set at 1-all is if real life has interrupted your session. None of the other reasons talked about so far are valid if you chose to stay for the second game. If you choose to rematch, finish the set when real life allows. However, is this guy ranting stupid? There are many reasons why someone had to leave a set, and you run into them again later that session. This brings us to the final section. Not ignoring real life situations.
I can understand and accept that I'm sure 1 in 1,000 someone's broken into your house as you're playing the set and you have to leave. I get that. If there's actually an emergency, like, I don't know, your dog just took a shit on your foot. I don't know, man. Like, it is so rare that you're playing a set and a volcano is erupted, or someone's broken into your house, or the ceiling is caved in. Let's be real.
Yeah, let's be real. Most players that have this Tekken snob, man-child entitled attitude to one and dunning are normally players in their 20s that don't interact with their parents or children at home, so they can zone out to real life and totally immerse themselves into their gaming session. They don't seem to fathom that for lots of us players, real life takes priority over fucking ranked. The beauty about Tekken is that a single game will last on average approximately 3 minutes, and at most, last roughly 5 minutes. This is a reasonable amount of time for a loved one to patiently wait for the Tekken player to finish the current game, pause their session, and interact with them. These entitled fools seem to think that the only excuse to leave is if there is an extreme emergency going on. Well, I've got news for you. If my teenage son comes in wanting help with something, or just wants to talk to their dad, and they have already patiently waited a few minutes for the current game to finish, I am not going to make them wait longer just so I can finish a set in fear of being called a fake. This can happen multiple times during a gaming session, by the way. Other common as muck real-life situations that can happen more than once every session are the doorbell going, or the phone ringing, and it's a call that needs to be taken. Therefore, if you see someone again in the same session after they have one and done due to a real-life thing, shock horror. They've probably answered the door, accepted the delivery, and now they are back. Is this ranter really that entitled that they can't grasp what happens every day to people living in the real world?
Don't be a one and done unless it's a serious Wi-Fi issue, or I don't know, Joe Biden's knocking at your door or something bombastic. Anything other than that will be deemed as absolutely shambolic behavior, and we shall not tolerate it, and you will be cast out from the Tekken community. No, I'm joking, obviously, but...
Hold on. Did they just say Wi-Fi issues?
It's a serious Wi-Fi issue.
So, we were meant to be shamed into not one and dunning, while they are accepting of Wi-Fi matches in ranked. What the actual fuck?